welcome to the channel, and back to the main project that I have on at the moment. And we left last time with the test that I was making of putting resin onto the boards. Now I got three pieces to test. Firstly, how much material I needed to mix, and then see how well it went on the project. I only used 16 grams in total of resin. The mixture was 10 grams of part A, 6 grams of part B, and that seemed to go quite well. In fact, I just finished it off with this piece of sawn just to see how well it filled. But my main reason was to give some support to the insect damage that some of the pieces have, and that's gone quite. Now you'll see here that's a test piece, yes, but it's filled in that main channel that a grub has made. That's gone nicely, and it's seeped into the holes that go into the wood, and that's really what I wanted to try. See how well it filled. Here's another piece. And so here again, some has stayed on the surface, but it's gone into the holes and channels quite nicely, and so that's given me confidence with what's what. The sawn piece of timber, that has, although it's still, I can still feel the unevenness of the surface because it was plain poorly cut timber that I was using, cheap pine, but that has filled that major depression very nicely. So this afternoon, the main thing I want to get done is start on the components of the main project so that I can get those filled. Now there are 5 pieces that I want to do primarily. It's here, the shorter of the 2 cabinets. This is the top rear rail, and there's just a little bit of worm damage in this top edge. I just want to make sure that that's stable. But one of the corresponding hangers, that's the top, so that's where the cupboard will hang from. But down on the bottom edge there's quite a bit of worm damage there, so I just want to fill that in, and I was just thinking of keeping it upright like that. On the one of the doors, that bottom rail, now this is the inside, so that is going to be less noticeable, so I just want to fill in those hole trails there. But 2 of the other doors, for the smaller of the cupboards, that is full of figuring from knots, and I just want to stabilize some of those. And there's a couple of major holes, that one and that one down there, those go all the way through, so I just want to make sure those are stable. And then finally, the panel here looks okay, but where I've joined the two pieces together is just here, halfway into this panel here. There is a split starting to come down, and I just want to make sure that that is stable as well. So that's the first job, and what I'm going to do is mix 30 to 18 by way of proportions of the resin, so it should give me just under 50 grams, and that should be ample for what I want to do this afternoon, because most of it will be going to fill this door panel here. So $30. So that's 30-ish, close enough. Now this needs to be 18, if I can get it open. There we go. So that'll be 49, won't it? That's that. Tops are on firmly. Now then, I need to mix for 2. Timer. Start. Just coming up for 2 minutes. There we go. Transfer into new pot. Start a mix for 2 minutes. There we go. Rest for a minute. So I will take advantage and put my gloves on. Spreader, where did I put that? There. So let's see how this goes. It should be quite easy to spread along here. There we go, that's that. Prop that upright. Next bit is just here. This bit doesn't need much. This crack just here. I'll come back to that panel last. But you see how much worm damage is here. So that's that one. Now the main panel, I really need something to block up that hole from the other side and block up that hole as well. What I'll do is use a little bit of masking tape instead. There we go. Here is just to fill in some of the knots, just to stabilise the surface. I've got plenty left, so what I've thought I'd do, these are the centre uprights for the rear of the two cupboards, and going back quite a few weeks, these were pieces that I cut down and went through biscuit joints, so I might as well fill in these holes here. I must say it is a little deceptive with it being transparent resin. Of course, it gives me the impression that these holes aren't filled when they actually are. There we go. So I think I've used about half to 2/3 of the mix. That's not bad. Right, so the resin is now curing, and I'll come back to that next week. But the next job is to position the supports for the bottom shelf on both cupboards. The top and the middle all have supports all round, but the bottom shelf I need to decide how I'm going to give those support. So going back some time, I singled out some pieces that I could position. So it's a case of the 4 side panels, the 2 bottom rails for both cupboards, and first things first, I need to decide which piece is which and then mark where the supports are going to go. So now this is where I'm glad I marked which corner post was which, so that I know exactly which piece is going where, because I hadn't marked the particular tenon. So tenon A goes into corner post A, and that means that one goes there. Right, so I think the easiest way to do this, because the support needs to be offset from the top by the thickness of the shelf, obviously. So those are roughly level, and so if I can position the top of that rail at the appropriate depth, then that will be that one sorted. Now the shelf is 15mm. So really it's mark that one 15, and that will be that one positioned. So that's, and if I do that, that's where the glue line is. So I know which piece goes where by way of, because that's 265 millimeters edge to edge. So the 300 mil rule won't work, the 150 won't work. I have a piece of ply that's ancient, that's roughly the same, the right size. So I can roughly join those up. Right, so that's the two long rails, that's one side. Just do this other, and that will be B and D. And then B will be this one. B is that one. Just double check that one. D. $15mm from that. Slow down, because this is where you're going to make mistakes. $260, so if I make that 2 at 260, like that. And to be honest, I might as well measure out the other two. $260, not quite. That can go there. So those are the 4 for the side panels. I've marked those. Right, I've got the 2 other side panels and the 2 other rails to do. Okay. Right, so I think that's as far as I'm going for today. I've marked where I'm putting all of the stock. I've just cut the pieces to length, so next time it'll actually be gluing up and then sanding off the resin just to make that flat. So right, let me clear up. So thanks for coming along with me this afternoon, and yeah, I'm almost at the point now where I can start gluing up. As I say, next time it'll be gluing up the shelf support and just sanding off the resin that I put in today, and then so within a fortnight I can actually start gluing up one of the cupboards. I won't have enough clamps to do both at the same time, and I certainly won't have the space to store them while they're gluing up either. So within a couple of months I should have everything fitted together, so I can then start finishing them off with varnish. And so I must also get round to getting the hardware, hinges and handles, things like that. So as I say, thanks for coming along with me. Welcome to all the new subscribers to the channel, and hope you're finding it interesting. And personally, I'm finding frustrating at times, but certainly hopefully I'm learning something as well. So I'll see you next time.